Hello, everyone. Welcome back to CC Group Crypto. This is episode number 3 of Web3 Wednesdays. Super excited to get into today's topic, Ethereum. That is the word of the day. Ethereum, Ethereum, Ethereum. Ethereum has something very, very important occurring very, very soon. We don't have an exact date yet, but that's okay. Ethereum is undergoing a major change. And today we need to talk about what that change means and how it could potentially affect the price of Ethereum. So if that sounds good to you, make sure you stay tuned and let's get at it, guys.
Got Adidas in my bag, gonna check 'em. Members only, gonna check 'em. Gonna check 'em, gonna check 'em. First impressions, first impressions.
So before we get into exactly what is happening with Ethereum, let's talk about something real quick. Let's talk about the two basic ways to secure a blockchain. You have two primary methods. One of those is what we call proof of work, and the other is what we call proof of stake. Proof of work is the securing method in which most of you are familiar with from Bitcoin and Ethereum, and what we call mining, right? Mining is the process of basically using computers to solve algorithms in order to secure transactions that get posted to a blockchain network. Bitcoin is known for this, right? They always talk about how Bitcoin uses so much energy, so much processing capability is required, difficulty increases, things of that nature. And so Bitcoin is known partially for how much energy is required in order to actually operate it and for it to function properly. And so it uses what's called a proof of work algorithm. Ethereum uses a proof of work algorithm as well. But a major change is happening. A major change is occurring. Something that has been in the works for many, many years. Ethereum is moving from a proof of work network that requires mining to what's called a proof of stake network that does no longer require mining. Proof of stake works differently in that instead of me lending my computer power to the network to secure it, I'm lending my actual Ethereum to the network to secure the network. And so what you have is a major shift here, a major change in the dynamics of how Ethereum functions at its core. We are going to see a major impact from this, mostly because of a few things. One of the big things is going to be that Ethereum is now going to be viewed as what you call a eco-friendly chain, if you will. It'll be an eco-friendly solution, and that it will no longer require power-intensive mining for it to operate and function at this point. It will also have a mechanism through proof of stake that will allow you to actually receive a return on what you stake, somewhat of an interest rate almost, if you will. And so people will be able to take their Ethereum, to be able to lend it to the network, to secure the network, and they will get paid back in Ethereum for lending that Ethereum, as opposed to having to go out and buy equipment to build mining farms, to build mining rigs, and to lend that to the network in order to secure it and to receive payment for that work. So it's going to completely change the way Ethereum functions and operates. This is something that's been in the works for a long time, actually. Back in the day, you may recall there was a term called Ethereum 2.0. Ethereum 2.0 was this project. It was fulfilling the full vision of Ethereum and moving to a proof of stake chain, a proof of stake network. That project has been in the works for a long time. It's evolved over time as well. So at first it was called Ethereum 2.0. Now we have what we're calling the merge, right? And the merge, to put very simply, is where they're going to take the old version of Ethereum, right, that worked as a proof of work algorithm or consensus, and they're going to move that over and combine with the new chain that uses a proof of stake consensus. And we're going to combine those, and we're calling that the merge now. So the merge is the major event that will be occurring sometime during this quarter, right? And a quarter is a 3-month time frame. So they're aiming for quarter 2 of this year, which started in April. So sometime between the beginning of April and the end of June, right? That is the window. And so we are looking at the merge occurring sometime within the next 2 months or so. And that's major. Okay, and I'm going to tell you why. There's something in crypto that we talk about. We call it buy the rumor and sell the news. Okay, buy the rumor and sell the news. And what that means that when there is rumors or rumblings of something happening that's going to be big and have a positive impact and change the way that a crypto works, right? Maybe it's a major partnership. Maybe it's a big change like the merge that's occurring, something of that nature. When we know it's going to happen, but we don't have any official dates or other types of confirmation, at that point, we really consider it a rumor. And while rumors are occurring, the price of the asset rises, right? So during this rumor phase, the price of it will go up. And then once the actual date is announced or the partnership gets announced or whatever the specific type of news is, then people start to sell off when we go, okay, yeah, now everyone knows what it is. Go ahead and we can sell off now that everyone has had their time FOMOing into this asset. And so the buy the rumor, sell the news, I believe is going to be a key strategy, if you will, going into this situation. So we know that Ethereum is going to make a change sometime in the next 3 months. So I suspect the price of Ethereum to rise drastically leading up to that time frame that the merge occurs, right? So we're going to have this huge wave, huge influx of people that start to just buy it because they know this change is coming, that's being anticipated, and the price of it's just going to start going up off of all of the hype of this change happening, right? And so as that hype builds up, the price of Ethereum will just go to the moon. Now, how high can the price of Ethereum go? That is an excellent question and something that we will be looking at here at the charts a little bit later in this episode. But I want to make sure you understand this basic concept of buying the rumor and sell the news. So we want to start getting into Ethereum now, right? At these price levels, we want to start buying because, you know, these rumors and rumblings are going on. People are hearing little whispers of these changes that are coming. And as the date gets announced, which it hasn't specifically yet, as that date gets announced, be prepared for Ethereum to just go absolutely insane bonkers leading up to that date, leading up to that change. And so you really want to get in before that happens. You want to be early to the party, if you will. If you can get in early to the party, once that date gets announced, it doesn't matter to you because you're already in, and then you can just ride the wave as things start to get hyped up and as the price of Ethereum starts to rise over time. And so the merge is a very interesting thing. Again, for the reasons that I mentioned earlier, we're going to have an eco-friendly Ethereum. We're going to have an Ethereum that requires less gas fees in order to use, right? So you're going to have a dramatic decrease in the cost of using Ethereum, and you're going to have a mechanism that will allow people to earn interest on Ethereum being lent to the network. So these things are going to be a drastic change for Ethereum. It's going to make Ethereum much more competitive against some of the newer blockchains like Solana that have come out, right, that don't require this proof of work algorithm. And so it's really going to set Ethereum up, I believe, to really take charge and really to lead the path. Now, we know that Ethereum is still the number 2 asset right now in crypto. It's still, only bested by Bitcoin at this point. So I'm not saying that it's not still number 2, which it most certainly is, but there's definitely some criticisms based on some of the other blockchains that have come out during this time. And so this is really, to me, going to just solidify Ethereum's position as the chain to use when it comes to DeFi and other types of technologies and protocols that we've seen up to this point. And so I really expect Ethereum to make some major moves here in the next few months as we lead up to this. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at the charts and look at some things that have occurred in the past to try to get an idea of potentially how high the price of Ethereum can go when this change occurred. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to look at a somewhat similar time in Ethereum's history in order to try to understand how it may perform in the future. Now, past performance doesn't always indicate future performance, but in this case, this will give us an idea of how things could potentially shake out. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at something that happened a little less than a year ago. That is EIP 1559. EIP 1559 was an Ethereum improvement proposal that occurred as a part of the London hard fork. And that proposal introduced some pretty important changes to the way Ethereum functioned. And so just like the merge will introduce some new important functionality changes to Ethereum, so did EIP 1559. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the 2-week period leading up to the London hard fork. And I'm going to look at and see how Ethereum performed during those 2 weeks. And then I'm going to apply that same level of performance to the price of Ethereum now, leading up to the potential merge that will occur sometime within the next 2.5 months. And so the London hard fork, or EIP 1559 that occurred, it actually occurred on August 5th. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look here around July 20th or so and the period leading up to August 5th and see how Ethereum's price performed. You can see here back on July 20th, Ethereum had kind of bottomed out somewhat around $1,700, which I wish I would have bought more of it when it was $1,700. But anyway, you can see leading up to this 2-week period on August 5th, you can see that there was a very dramatic increase in the price. As a matter of fact, I've used my price tool here, and I have actually been able to see that we gained about 65% of value on Ethereum in the 2 weeks leading up to the London hard fork that occurred on August 5th, right? Now that is a pretty healthy gain over a 2-week period, 65%. Now, something that I also want to point out that's very interesting, the rise in Ethereum was so strong that people are actually selling off their Bitcoin to buy Ethereum. And I can see that by looking at that same period here. If we look at the 5 days leading up to the London hard fork, so July 31st to August 5th, you're going to see this sharp decline in Bitcoin's price here. This was people selling Bitcoin to pile into Ethereum because of all the FOMO that was being created based on the anticipation of the London hard fork that was occurring on August 5th. So you can literally see Bitcoin selling off for Ethereum's sake, right? And so this is interesting. This tells me that we gained about 65% in that 2-week period. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that same number, that 65%, and I'm going to apply that to the price of Ethereum now. Now, a couple caveats to this. For one, it depends on when this date is actually set for the merge, right? Let's say that the merge gets set for June 1st, but then we go into an extremely bearish period, very bearish market. Well, it's very possible that Ethereum could underperform in its price gain due to some macroeconomic impacts. And so this isn't a perfect science, but I'm just taking the logic, I'm taking the performance of Ethereum during a large change. I'm just going to apply that to the price today and see what we get. Another thing too is going to be, depending on where Ethereum's price is at that time, is also going to obviously affect where the price ends up if we are using this 65% or so. I actually wouldn't be surprised if we were to gain more than 65%, but we're going to use it as a baseline based on some previous history that we have here. Okay, so if we go back to Ethereum's price today, right now Ethereum at the time of this video is trading around 33.50 or so, right on one of my lovely red lines. So Ethereum's change is sometime scheduled in the next 2 months. What I'm going to do is I believe that Ethereum's price is going to continue to rise probably in the short term. It depends on how the S&P does. The S&P hasn't been so kind to us today, but there is a chance that it could rebound back and continue to move up. And if it does, I expect crypto to do the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say that Ethereum's price is about $4,000 as we get close to the same period. So if I don't click on ads because I'm cheap and I don't pay for TradingView and I have ads. So if I don't click on the ad, right, and I click on my price tool here, you can see here what I've plotted. I've basically taken Ethereum and put it at the 4,000 level, and I've added 65% to that. And where that puts me is $6,643. So again, not a perfect science, but if we were able to gain 65% on an EIP, I can only imagine what type of gain we can make on the merge, or what was called Ethereum 2.0, because it's such a more dramatic change. I imagine the media coverage is going to be extremely heavy for this, and it's going to have a lot of fanfare and hype around it. And so we could see a lot more than 65%, but we're being conservative here. So let's give it a conservative 65% at the $4,000 price level. That puts us at 6,643. So with that being said, sometime in the next 2.5 months, my expectation is that we will see Ethereum above $5,000, potentially above $6,000, potentially at the $6,500 range. We could very easily break into the $7,000 range as well, but we are going to be conservative with these estimates. So all in all, regardless, those are all great price levels. I love to see Ethereum even above $5,000. That would be a new all-time high. $6,000 would be even better. 7 would blow my mind. A lot of people believe that Ethereum would be 10,000 or more at the end of the year. I happen to be one of those people as well. But I digress. The point is, expect Ethereum to go crazy in the next 2.5 months. Buy it now while you can. It's going to go berserk. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I really appreciate your continued support. Please let me know what you think Ethereum will do when the merge occurs. Do you think it's going to give us just a 65% increase? Do you think it's going to give us a 200% increase? What do you think is going to happen? Let me know. Leave a comment below. Also, please subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Doesn't take a lot of effort from you. Literally a single thumb press, a single click of your mouse will get you subscribed. So that way you don't miss a single episode every single Wednesday. All right. Also, please like, if you're able, all 3 of those things. Liking, commenting, and subscribing helps me out, helps me to grow the channel, helps me to continue to give you great content. All right, guys, as you can see here, it is 1:48 in the morning. I am super tired, so I am going to bed. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you next Wednesday in episode 4. Peace. I'm out of here.